The BIMrx Sheet View Manager allows you to easily create sheets and views and manage those sheets and views within your project. Here you can select to create sheets, create views within the BIMrx interface. I can add rows of data to my sheets, input the necessary information, delete any rows of data, and then export them out to an Excel file. I can do the same for creating views. Use the BIMrx interface to create the views, input the necessary information. That'll allow me to create views. If I come to the Manage tab, I can place views on sheets using the BIMrx interface. And I can even align views on sheets. In addition to being able to create views and sheets within the BIMrx interface is the ability to create views and sheets within Excel-based workflow. There are two methods in order to create views and sheets via an Excel-based workflow. One is based on discipline settings, and the second is based on an Excel template. Let's first walk through how to create views and sheets based on discipline settings. With every download of BIMrx, you get an Excel configuration file template automatically downloaded to your computer. When selecting Load, it'll provide you with the file path to that Excel template. I can copy that file path, locate it in my file browser, and then take that template, use my Control-C to copy it and place it somewhere else on my computer so that I can then make changes to that template file. Once I have the new location of that file, I can load in new file path. The next step is to update the lookup table. This will take all the information in my current project and export it into this Excel file. Once I have my Excel file with the updated lookup tables, I can start applying all of the discipline and filter settings that I can then use to create views and sheets. Let's go and set up our Excel configuration file. Here are all the default information that was inputted from the downloaded default template BIMrx provides you. I can then manipulate all of this data to match my current settings. And if you look at the lookup tables in the last sheet, you can see that all of the information will match your current project. I'll start setting up the discipline settings in the first sheet here. I can set up the Boolean, which will automatically be the default of the selected disciplines loaded into my BIMrx Sheet View Manager. Here I can begin to set up the disciplines according to my project needs. In this case, I am an architect and want to set up all of the drawings I need for my project. I'll need my floor plans, my reflected ceiling plans, my finish plans, my furniture plans, my presentation plans, and also my working plans. I can then go ahead and delete out all of this unnecessary information. Now I can modify the view type based off of my lookup tables, which is the information exported out of my current project. I'm going to remove the Boolean for a few of these disciplines just so you can see how that is represented in BIMrx once we load this back into the Sheet View Manager. The next step is to set up my view template sequencing. Now this is linked to my second sheet. Here I can create my view template sequencing. I'm going to copy over the naming of my disciplines so I can match it here. And again, delete out anything that's unnecessary. Once I've put in the naming for my view template sequences, I'm going to assign the first templates. I'm going to copy over the view types into my view types over here. Once I've finished setting up the view template sequencing here, I can match that information in my view template sequence on the first sheet of my discipline settings. I can also assign a default scope box. I can then come and define the discipline abbreviation and the discipline number. Now these two are going to define the sheet numbering convention. When I come back to the Sheet View Manager, we can see the view sheet naming convention and the sheet numbering convention listed here. As you can see, it'll be numbered based on the discipline abbreviation, a dash, then the discipline number, then the level associated number. We can come back to our Excel file to see how to input that information. So all of my discipline abbreviations will be A, since they're all architectural drawings. My sheet number discipline is going to be defined by that first number of my sheet number. So here I can just have them sequenced out like so. And then I can define the title block, which again is based off of the information from the lookup tables that I've extracted out of my current project. I can also add any suffixes or prefixes to either my sheets or my views. In this case, I want to define a few prefixes. So this will be my floor plan, my RCPs, my finished floors, my furniture plans, my presentation plans, and my working plans. Once I've finished setting up all the information in the discipline settings and the view template sequence, I want to set up the levels. Now the levels have already been updated based off of my current project. Now I can define the level associated number, and the level associated name. Now that I've set up my Excel file, I can save it out, come back to my Sheet View Manager, and load in those changes. As you can see, the disciplines have been updated to what I've inputted, and they've been highlighted based off of the Boolean I've specified. I can now come and select all the views that I want to create, specify the floors that I want to create them for, and hit apply. You can see that it has been infilled with the correct information based off of the Excel configuration files for creating all my sheets via this numbering convention and naming convention. When I come over to the views, I can see that again the information has been updated according to this information. I can adjust the naming conventions here to customize it even further. If I make any changes, all I have to do is hit apply, and it will update with those changes. Once I hit create, all of the views based off of my Excel configuration file will be created. To create my sheets, I need to come back to my Sheets tab and select Create. I can even move, uncheck, or check any specific views that I want to create. I can come and deselect all the views, only select the ones I currently need, and it will only create those that are checked. Once I close out, you can see all of the views that were created based off of my Excel file, and only the sheets that I had selected. The second Excel-based workflow is to create views and sheets based on an Excel template. The first step to creating views and sheets based on an Excel template is to export the data out of your model. Unlike the based on discipline settings, there is no predefined template to use. When exporting, it will export all of the data being shown in the current data grid of the Sheet View Manager here. I can activate other view sheet parameters and add them to my data grid, and it will export them in my export. I can then open that Excel file that I exported out of the model. As you can see, the information listed to create views is in one tab, to create sheets is in another tab, and to place views on sheets is in a third tab. You also have your lookup tables with all the information exported out of your project. Your title blocks, your view types, your levels, view templates, scope boxes, the current sheets in your project, the current views in your project, the viewport types, placement options, and duplication options. This is all the information you will need to create the views, the sheets, or place the views on the sheets. And as you can see, it also included the last column of information that was added to the data grid. Now I can begin to infill the information to create views or sheets or place the views on those sheets. Once I fill in all the information to create the views, it will look something like this. I can come back to my Sheet View Manager, load in the Excel file to create the views, and it will automatically fill in the data grid to create those views. Once I hit create, all of the views would then be created. If I want to set up my views to duplicate as dependent existing views, my Excel file will look like this, and I will fill in these two columns with the duplication option and the view to duplicate from. Once I load in that Excel file, the data grid will infill with the information from my Excel exactly how I've had it. I can hit create, and all of my views have been duplicated as dependent. If I'm creating sheets via the Excel template, I will come over to the Sheets tab and fill in the information like this. When I come to my Sheet View Manager, I will come to the Sheets tab, load in the Sheets Excel file to create the sheets. The last workflow is to place the views on the sheet. And if I'm creating an Excel file to place those views on those sheets, I will fill it out like this with the sheets, the corresponding views, the viewport type, and the placement location. All of these are linked to the lookup tables. I'll load in that final Excel file for the view placement, and it'll infill the data grid. At any point in time, if I make any changes to the current model, I can update the lookup table of any of the Excel files. Once I hit create, all the views will be placed on the sheets. And with any information that I input, I can also use these settings to add any prefix to either the sheet number, the sheet name, or when I come to the Views tab, to the view name. Like so. If I need to modify that, it'll update according to any information that I input. The last feature of the Sheet View Manager brings us to the Manage tab and the View Alignment. This is the only feature that isn't defined by an Excel-based workflow. Here I can align views on sheets. If I come in and move a view on a sheet and I need to align other views to match this first one, I can use the Sheet View Manager Align feature. Once I select the view alignment, I can specify the sheet in which the view is moved on, and then use my control to select multiple views that I need aligned to the original. Once I hit create, all of those views will be aligned